embarrassment. It's an absolute embarrassment, Carol. I want to get to some more, but please.
Bob is exactly right that we had the number of signatures we needed. What was really interesting was that when there was a meeting for like a vote of the county committee, Joe made a very, important point before the meeting that this is not a real meeting, because he was afraid that somebody could stand up and say, point of order, I have something to bring up, and they would be allowed to speak. He basically made a point of saying, no, this isn't a real meeting. We haven't really called, in a room full of county committee people. He was playing semantics to prevent any county committee person from standing up and saying...
In fact, I did stand up, and I did make a point of order, and I did announce that I wanted to put forward resolutions, and it was my right under the bylaw to put forward the resolutions.
And some of the guys actually threatened to, geez, do you think we should get Leo in here? They wanted to get the sheriff's department to arrest you. And then Joe Ferierro had the audacity to say, I'd like to take a vote to silence Mr. Gulack. And he said, all in favor? And all the big goons basically went, all right. And then I was waiting for the all opposed. Never came. Okay, that's the way this guy runs a meeting of the county committee. I mean, it's just ridiculous. It's absolutely insane.
He understood very well that if there was ever a new business section at a county committee meeting while I was on the committee, that I would stand up and say, yes, I have some new business. I have the resolutions that were proposed by 70 members of this committee, and I'd like to bring them to the floor now. And so he made it a practice never to allow the members of his own committee to have a new business section, even though that's called for in the bylaws.
Right.
Now, the crucial aspect from his point of view, of course, was that I not be there anymore, because as long as I was there, I was going to raise my head and make that point. So during the campaign, though I had the assurance of DeShane, who's Steve Rothman's chief of staff, that Rothman would be taking no sides in my town, Steve Rothman came personally to my tiny little election district, District 13 in Fairlawn, to campaign in person against me and make sure that the 200 or 300 Democrats who live in my tiny election district knew that Steve Rothman wanted me thrown out. And Senator Gordon, who distinguished himself by telling me, Joe Ferierro controls my entire political life. Bob Gordon, who distinguished himself by supporting the abolition of the right to local legislative nominations, because Ferierro told him so, who supported Ferriero's efforts to try to abolish all pay-to-play reform. Bob Gordon wrote a letter to the whole community advising them to throw me out. So I've got thrown out. Okay, I'm not on the committee. I can't raise my hand and say point of order anymore. And certainly a lot of the credit for throwing me off goes to Congressman Rothman.
I want to tell